Hey guys, this is Jim, WT1W, and you're watching FEPLabs Radio. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. So today I want to share with you a couple of things that I've discovered on my CW journey. And these are things that will help you with your CW journey to learn CW, practice your CW. And the beauty of this is you can darn near practice anywhere, even without a radio. So what I've got here is two dinguses that do exactly the same thing. And a little bit of difference in price on these. So what this is, and let me hold one of these up so we can see it a little better. Focus camera. This is a USB adapter to plug in your CW key, is what this thing is. And you can see this one has the 1/8 inch plug designed for a standard CW key plug. And of course the other side is USB. And this works in USB-A or USB-A 2 or 3, whatever, the standard USB-A connector. It may work with the USB-C adapter. I don't know, I haven't tried that. So what this does, and I have my key here, I have one of my keys here, is you plug your key into that, plug this into your PC, and then you can use your key with online CW practicing keying things. And we're going to look at one in a second from Ham Radio Solutions that's free. And it's a great resource. I love it. We're trying to get them on Coffee and Ham radios coming up in the next few weeks. Working on that now, so keep an eye out on Coffee and Ham Radio's channel for that. In any case, that's what this is. This particular one came from AliExpress and it was about $9. I'll put a link to that in the description below. This one came from Ham Radio Solutions. They sell one. CW Morse also sells these too. And this was about $25 or $30 from CW Morse. And this one's a little different design. So this has a USB-C connection on one end of it, and they ship a cable with it, an A to C cable. So I imagine if you have a straight USB-C connection, you could just use a USB-C cable, but it ships with this A to C adapter, which is still fairly common. And then of course on this end, we have the connector, the same kind of 1/8 inch stereo connector, TRS connector that you'd use with your standard key connection. So what these things do is allow you to plug in your Morse key, whichever one you're using. And it lets you use those with the online CW practice testing kind of solutions where you can practice your keying and practice keying what you heard and all of that. So without further ado, let's pop up the website and take a look at hamradio.solutions, and I'll put a link for that in the description below as well, and see how these things are going to work. All right, so this is Ham Radio Solutions website. You can see here we're taking a look at. And Ham Radio Solutions has got a pretty basic website, but it's got some interesting things on it. So first of all, and we're hoping to have these guys on, as I mentioned, on Coffee and Ham Radios to talk about CW Hotline and some of the other things their website does. But they sell a device called CW Hotline, which has a built-in key. It also lets you practice keying with a buddy over the internet with two of these devices. So for example, the Smoking Ape and I could sit in our respective places, me in Alabama, him in a bunker in Nebraska, and practice our CW back and forth with each other over an internet connection. This device you can get as a kit or get it pre-made. Pretty cool device. Trying to get a hold of one to take a look at it. But what Ham Radio Solutions also offers is what's called V-band. And this is what I want to share with you today. So V-band, as you can see here, shows channels. And there are multiple channels, a practice channel, channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can pop in these channels, and I've already set this up. Obviously, there's my call sign. And if there's anybody else in here, we could see them keying back and forth. So it's kind of like a private radio channel, at least for practice in CW. Pretty cool. And there are multiple channels. You can do some fancy things with the channels, like if Ape and I were using one of these, his would say, of course, unknown caller. And there's other people in here, we can mute them so we don't hear them and they don't hear us, and then we can still carry on our conversation So to my understanding, and I've not tested this out, you can have multiple groups in one channel at a given time. Then we also have the practice channel, which is right here. And this is me by myself, and that's it. And we're going to demo that in a second. And what these channels all do, whether it's the practice channel or channels 1 through 4, is that they will show you what they're hearing and what you're keying, so it does the decode for you. That is what you use these devices for, because now I can use the key of my choice and practice my CW skills in here. If I don't look at the screen, I can sit here and practice send in CQ, for example, and then go back over and look and see what the decode showed. And I believe it also shows an audio representation of your DAWs and DITs as well. So you can see if you're maybe throwing one too many DITs on something, and that's why it didn't decode it right, because you messed it up possibly. So that's pretty swank. If you go to channel 5 or 6, it says here decode is disabled. So there's not going to be any decode. It's going to be like being on the radio. You know, you're going to have to do all the decoding here. A great practice resource, and you know, a great way to practice with a buddy without actually being on the air and firing up your radio. So I thought that's a pretty cool feature. You have multiple channels you can set up here. This is specifically a scratch pad kind of thing. You can set your settings for your timing, not only the timing of your keying, your send rate, but also your Farnsworth timing, as well as what tone, so on and so forth. And then there's some latency adjustments you can make because you are sending over your internet connection to wherever the V-band system is sitting. There's going to be some latency, and you might need to crank that up or lower that latency down to account for internet time. I mean, it's not long. Of course, they have a store, and this is where one of these keys, these devices came from, this one in particular. This does not look like the one that I received. That looks like it's in a hard candy shell. Mine is in what looks like shrink wrap, but doesn't matter. And I thought it was a cool idea that it came with the jumper cable, because that way I can plug this into my computer and it'll reach a little farther to where the key is. And of course, support and how to support them, and some of the things they have. They also have a QSO bot on here, which I have not played with, and that will have a fake QSO with you. So this is like having a Morse keyer to practice with, only a little bit more interactive, possibly, than a Morse keyer. I talked about in my last video the keyer from Vince, VE6LK, and his sidekick Dan, and I cannot remember Dan's call sign again. And it's a great keyer, a great practice tool, and I love it. Ape bought one. Ape and I both have those, and we've been using those pretty religiously. But this is cool because this thing is everywhere, and I don't have to carry this if I'm at work and have some downtime. Got a small key. I can sit at my desk and practice my CW skills at my desk. Let's plug in a key and our device, and let's play with this real quick and see what this looks like. So before I embarrass myself, I did want to share this. We can change our key or mode here, so you can set whatever kind of key setup you have if you're using a bug and you fancy. Iambic A, Iambic B, Ultimatic mode, which is fancy squeeze keying kind of deal. Don't know anything about that really yet. I've heard the word, haven't tried it. And of course, a straight key or a cootie. So I've got this all set. I believe I have it set right. This is the Bengali HST. I got this for a great price off of eBay because I wanted a single paddle, and I mean, hell, it's a Bengali. And so you can change the settings in here. This is where we turn on the QSO bot. We can have auto character spacing, a whole lot of other features that I have not delved into. The main feature that I want to share with you on this site is to get out of settings, and I need to click the right window and go to channels, and we'll go to the practice channel. And if I have everything set up right, and hopefully I won't embarrass myself too badly. So timing is everything, just like with a straight key, you still have to have the timing. I have this set at 20 words a minute, I believe, and a Farnsworth of about 10 or 15. But you get the idea. And the other thing I wanted to share is not just to embarrass myself trying to key, but that you can see what the system is receiving as dots and dashes. So where I got everything right and it translated correctly is because my timing was on. Here at the beginning, I was apparently leaning on it a little too long, and it picked up an N instead of Q's. And again, that depends on you. That depends on the key you're using. I'm still way learning how I want to set the key for how much motion the key has got and how tight I've got it. Ape and I were talking about this the other day, and he said he tends to be a slapper, he thinks, and his key is a little looser. I've got this one tightened up pretty far. I might need to loosen it up. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of finding my way with that while I'm learning. So that covers what I wanted to share with you for this video. Again, there will be links to this stuff in the description below, these USB devices. AliExpress has about 10,000 of them. There's a bunch of them on eBay as well. I was unsuccessful in finding something like this on Amazon specifically that was a cheap alternative. So, you know, $9, and it does the thing just as well as the other thing. Guys, that's all I have in this video. Hope you got something out of it. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell. All that is in the dingus below. That way you get notified whenever I post any new content. Have a great day, y'all. 73.